Hi, my name is Jonathan Shalfi. I'm originally from Tenafly, New Jersey, and I'm a first-year MPIA student here at IRPS. My focus here is on environmental policy and Japan, and my interest is in Japanese domestic environmental policy.
Hi, my name is Sharon Narita Fong, and I'm a part of the MAS program here at IRPS. And my track is International Public Policy, and my area of interest is International Aid and Development.
So let me ask you, how has your experience at IRPS been so far? What have been sort of the highlights and maybe the challenges that you've faced?
So one of the highlights is just getting to know my cohort. I think what's been really valuable is building relationships and friendships that I know will continue for years, and just getting to know my classmates and hear about their backgrounds. We have folks from the military, folks that were ex-diplomats, and it's just interesting to hear about their experiences in different countries. Do you have any favorite classes that you've taken so far?
Yeah, a couple. Probably my favorite class that I've taken so far is QM1, that's Quantitative Methods 1. That's the introductory quantitative statistical methods class that all IRPS first-year students take. And I really liked it for two reasons. First, the professor, his name is Professor Lau. He's just wonderful. One of the best professors here, just so nice. But it wasn't just about him. The class itself is really extremely useful. It sort of forms a foundation of what the statistical education is all about here at IRPS, so it was a really useful class for me. What would you say has been your favorite class so far here?
The class that I enjoyed most would probably be Program Design and Evaluation. It really ties in well with my current internship with USAID, and right now what I'm doing is I'm assessing the quality of their program evaluations. So are you involved in any student organizations? And if so, what has your experience been like with them so far?
Sure, so I'm in Asameshikai, which is the Japanese student organization here at IRPS, and our organization runs all sorts of events that are Japan related. We have language exchanges, we have year-end parties, we have cherry blossom party, we have charity events, which is something that we're trying to get into now. And it's really nice to be in a group with people who share similar interests with me and who are also my classmates. I think that the student groups here are really strong.
Are you currently in an internship program?
Well, I'm not in an internship right now, but this summer I will be doing an internship in Tokyo at the Institute for Energy Economics. It's an energy research organization, and I hope to study the domestic implications of the Fukushima disaster, and specifically the role of renewable energies in trying to help the country recover.
So now we're going to see Professor Burney. She teaches quantitative methods and food security this year, and let's see what she thinks about the program. Hi, Professor Burney.
Hi, how are you doing?
Just fine. I'm wondering if you could share a little bit about your background.
Sure. So I'm a new faculty member at IRPS. I started in July, but I've actually been at UCSD for 2 years prior to that. I was a postdoc down at the Scripps Institution for Oceanography, and that actually brings up the fact that I have a bit of an unusual background for IRPS. I'm a physical scientist. I do environmental science and the impacts of that on development and other things. So.
Well, as I'm in the environmental policy track, I should probably say welcome. So the two classes you're teaching now are Quantitative Methods 2 and Food Security. So what would you say are the biggest takeaways from these two classes?
All right, well, as diligent QM2 students, I should probably turn that question back to you. But my main goal in teaching QM2 is to impart a love of the methodology to the students. I think no matter what your background, whether you are somebody who is interested in development or international politics or the environment, this methodology can be really powerful for you. And even for people who really come at this with a very deep love of qualitative methods, I think being able to turn some of this qualitative data into a statistical tool that can be used is really powerful. As a teacher, that's my favorite sort of demographic in the class are the people who come in saying, I am not a quantitative person, and end up kind of falling in love with their ability to do this sort of work.
So most faculty here at IRPS have a strong research background. Could you describe what type of research you're working on right now?
Sure. So all of my research focuses on the connections between climate change and food security. So I study kind of a bunch of different pieces of that cycle. So I study climate impacts on agriculture, and in particular I'm interested in a class of pollutants, short-lived climate pollutants. They're one sort of piece of the global warming picture. And then I also study the impact of food consumption and production technologies on climate. I also do some work on the ground in sort of technology-based development projects. I'm really interested in technologies that can help smallholder farmers adapt to climate change. So
you were recently featured on National Geographic as a Nat Geo explorer. So can you tell us a little bit about what this means?
The award itself, every year, National Geographic picks a dozen or so people to be what they call emerging explorers. They also have sort of a crew of very famous sort of permanent explorers. And this whole explorers family is pretty fun, and I feel very honored to be a part of it. But it's a small research grant, or grant to pursue whatever explorations you are doing. And then it's also really kind of, more importantly, just being a part of the National Geographic family. So, we get invited to events, and I got to take, a photography class with some of the photographers. It was very fun. It's been a neat, just a neat sort of professional development opportunity.
Well, congratulations about that. Is there any particular project you intend to use this grant for?
Yeah, so with a couple of other colleagues that were also in my cohort of emerging explorers, we applied for a larger grant from National Geographic, actually, to look at a sort of integrated smallholder farming system that combines solar-powered water pumping, irrigation, and then eco-sanitation. So to make sort of a closed-loop system for smallholder ag, and we are piloting that system in West Africa right now. So it's a very fun kind of little baby project that we're really excited about what it might turn into.
Well, it really sounds great.
And I'm actually thinking about taking your food security class next quarter. So I'm wondering if you could describe what the course will be like and what the key takeaways would be.
Yeah, so the goal of the course, well, let me tell you a little about what the course is going to be. About a third of it will be kind of an introduction to the world food economy and the drivers on the supply and demand sides of things like food prices and food availability. The second third will be a look at, sort of historical policies that have led to different food security outcomes in different places. And the last third will be looking at constraints to food security looking towards the future, so things like climate, et cetera. My main goal through all of this is to kind of have everyone use a bunch of different types of methods. So there will be some writing, there will be some problem sets, there will be some quantitative analysis during the quarter. And my goal is for everyone to be able to come out a little bit more well-rounded in terms of how to address kind of the questions that pop up with typically no data behind them in the food security world. So, everyone should be a vegetarian, or, Monsanto is evil, or, these sort of questions or statements that get bandied about a lot. My goal is to have you guys be able to take those on in a meaningful way.
If I can ask one more question, what do you think are the benefits, or what is really the importance for taking a class like QM2 for the study of international relations?
There are a lot of ideas, whether we're talking about international relations or environmental science and policy or any of the fields represented here at IRPS. There's always a sort of conventional wisdom that sometimes does not have much data behind it. And I would say one of the nice things about the skills learned in my class with QM2 is that you are suddenly able to take those sort of notions of common sense or common wisdom and either put some substance behind them or challenge the conventional wisdom with data, and you learn how to do those things. And we've talked about this a number of times in class. Either option is great. Either we work on this stuff and things seem to point in the right direction or in the same direction as sort of what our common sense tells us, or the data do not support that at all, and that's also tremendously interesting and sort of drives our knowledge forward. So, that's my my motivation for sort of trying to bring people into this methodology.
Thank you, Professor Burney.
Thanks you guys for coming by.
Thank you.